Hi, these are your Jesse Mack one word or less comic reviews for May 2019. Rolling up a bit late, cause I'm bad at this. Yeah, the job that pays me has been kind of all up my butt, and this is the first day off I've had in June, which is kind of messed up. Well, the first day off that I've had where I actually was at home for like 3 weeks. Anyway, you don't care. Let's review some comics. Catharsis. Gritty. Redemptive. Draining. Gorgeous. Crackling. Interlocking. Massive. Amazing. Encompassing.
One word or less comic.
Wait. As a bonus, even though I didn't do a proper top 10 list or anything, some of the free comics that I read were standouts, and so I went back through my pile of free comics that I read, and anything that surpassed what I expected or like really stuck with me, here's one word for those as well. Stunning. Gumption. Solid. Harsh. Ooh. Nostalgic? Harrowing.
One word or less comic reviews. Pow!
There you go. Alright, just a few words on the free comics, and then I'm going to get to the meat. Let's see. My favorite thing is Monsters, or I guess it's our favorite thing is my favorite thing is Monsters, was a real fun book. I visually, the art is just beautiful, and like the story of how the artist-writer became partially paralyzed was horrifying, but it was a good read. Let's see, Grumble versus the Goon was good. I thought the characters really shone, and I wouldn't mind reading more of either of those characters, which a lot of these are like, oh, if I see these again, I'm going to pick them up. Why is a door moving? Wind. Interceptor was fun. I thought that was a neat concept for a thing, and it was well done, and once again, if I happen to see it in stores, I'll pick it up. It was a good book. Sheets was interesting. It was like a very... You know, if I had a teenage daughter, I would give her this book. And being that I'm essentially a teenage girl myself, mentally, in a weird way, yeah, it was. It resonated nicely, and I thought it was very well done as well. Then there's that Catwoman book, which, same, but I really wasn't going into that expecting abusive father stuff. And, or I guess it was Stepfather. I read it like a month ago. But it was real weird. But also, well done. Apparently everything was done well. Hope. Again, if you look at the cover, like, that is not the story. The story that we got is not the story I thought I was getting from that cover. It was the story of a woman who secretly has superpowers getting into an accident and finding out that they're going to take her kid away, or they did take her kid away. What? What? But amazing, and the fact that I had no idea that was going to happen made it a little bit more fun. Deadly Class was Deadly Class. Deadly Class was very good. This was very good. There was not much meat on the bones, but the bones, sucking on them bones was delicious, metaphorically speaking. I always love spending time in this universe. It was neat to go back to an earlier time. It kind of felt like it was trying to capture some of what the first season of the TV show was getting, which is good. Because, man, I like the first season of that TV show. So it was good to see those characters live and be together again. And then, strangest thing, forget about the Incredible story. It was fine. But there's an 8-page story, Minecraft story, about a griefer getting told in-game that she should stop doing what she's doing and it having real-life consequences. And it's a little nothing of a story, but it was creepy. And, again, not what I expected, and it was fantastic. All right, here comes the potatoes and the meats. Here comes the bulk of what we're doing here. Whew. First of two Batman issues. This one had Batman waking up from his crazy nightmares and busting through everybody in Arkham Asylum. It was done poetically, the way that much of Tom King's Batman run was, which is a big part of what I've liked about the book. But then also, it was nice to just see him poking at all the guys and really emphasizing one of the things that makes Batman great, which is that he can, like, out-riddle the Riddler, he can out-fight Solomon Grundy, he can, like, no matter what they can do, he can figure out a way to do it better than they did. Yeah, because he's the Batman. That's what he does. All right, I'm going to try to keep moving, because I feel like I'm already, like, 5 minutes into this video, and that's not where I want to be. Spider-Man Life Story... Let me say Spider-Man. Let's go with Spider-Man. Has been a real interesting ride, where it's a little too, like, kind of serious, but in a way that works for it. Once I realized that's what the story was going to be, it has paid dividends, and there's some, like, real tragedy going on here, and, you know, Chip Funny Man Zdarsky doing some real gut punches, which, that's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Ah, there's Thor. Hey, Thor. This issue of Thor is a nice little kind of, like, bottle episode type of story where it's just like, forget about everything else that's going on. How is Cull doing? And it was great, but at the same time, it makes me wish that more often stories could introduce this kind of character growth or development and not just have it be for sacrifice in the same issue. Because that does happen sometimes, and it's always a really nice self-contained story. But what if this was happening little by little in the main book, and then the sacrifice happened, but it had been building over like 6 months? It probably would have hit even harder. Maybe not, though. Maybe having it all at once helps it out. But I feel like I always love it when when writers take characters that have been sort of overlooked, or they get introduced, big bang, and then they get shuffled back down to the bottom of the pile. I always like when they get more dimension to them, but when you do that just to kill them off, it sucks. Although, it's a god from Thor, he'll be back if they need him to be back. So, whatever. But it was a really nicely done little story. Oh, the other Batman. Batman 71 was the issue, what was going on in there, where he tried his best to... Bane's in his head, and the things that are happening for him are not appearing to happen to the rest of the world, and I would assume that it's trickery on their part, but it could be that Batman has lost his mind, which is actually even more interesting, but it'll be... I'm sure more will be revealed, but the scenes with him and Bane and Alfred saying, you know, don't you see it? Like, he has broken you. It's just really, really nice stuff. It's an interesting escalation of the idea of Bane breaking the Batman. I don't know how many more ways I can say Pearl is freaking gorgeous, because it's freaking gorgeous. It feels real good. Always enjoy reading it. And there was a giddiness to this issue, even though it was dealing with some kind of serious stuff, that I very much enjoyed. I wish Bendis wrote more books that felt like this, because a lot of his stuff is very samey for me now, and it's no longer like, oh my god, Brian Michael Bendis is writing this, I've got to check it out. It's just, yeah, if I hear it's good, maybe. Who's the artist? Usually if he works with a better artist, the story is better. If he's just doing a superhero comic, it seems kind of disposable. But then again, I haven't really been reading the stuff that he's been doing at DC. It doesn't feel like it's for me. But let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if that stuff's been super great and I should check it out. trying to promote engagement. Schluck and subscribe. Deadly Class. Deadly Class it does a very good job of telling smaller stories, and I think I might have said this in the last review. I said it for something recently, where I like when a comic can sort of... You're telling one story, and then you start telling another story, put the other story to the side, and then the two stories smash into each other. This is Marcus and Maria going back to King's Dominion, and everything is different. Not because everything changed while they were gone, just that they're different, they're treated different, and it's a whole different situation, which means anything can happen, anything goes, which is always exciting. I love Deadly Class. It's really, really good. Paper Girls is coming up on its end, and this was a story artfully told, and I don't think that's the right use of artfully, otherwise I would have used that as my word. I believe I looked it up once, and it doesn't mean what I think it meant, what I thought it meant, but it's done where every page is divided into 4 rows of horizontal panels, and each of the 4 girls represents one of those columns. And so if you're reading it traditionally, you get a piece of each story before moving on to the next piece, and each page tonally feels right, where things are kind of bouncing off of each other. The panels aren't actually interacting, but emotionally they are similar, or there's a juxtaposition there that makes it feel good. But then if you read it through just line by line, just the top panels on every page, just the middle panels, it's the same story, but it reads so much differently. And I'm always thrilled when comics do something with the form, and this was very much that, where it's the story's coming to a head, but on top of that, it's seriously, that one door just keeps opening by itself. Wind. I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But Paper Girls is good. If you're checked out, you checked out. If you're not, it's almost over. So maybe start at the beginning. It was good. Oh, this was a good curse words. This was everything kind of coming together in a beautiful way. Curse Words has been building a nice story, but there have been months and months where it doesn't feel like the explosive adventure that I was promised at the beginning of things. It was just putting the pieces down on the table so that they could just smash them all away. This was the smash issue. They smashed it all, and it was real nice. And now it puts a very clear direction on where we're going to go next, and it's very exciting. It's, yeah. If the book can continue this momentum, it will really come into its own, and it'll be hard not to scream from the heavens that you should be reading it. Speaking of, here's Assassin Nation, which is, I always want to call it Assassination Nation, even though that's not the name. Ambiguous titling. God, Kyle Starks, I love the work he does, and Erica Henderson's at the top of her game. There's a lot of good action. That's what I expect going into a Kyle Starks story like this. But there's also bits of emotion, like just nice quiet moments. There's good humor. The moment with the Mamba twin, if you read it, you know the one I'm talking about. And was it Taipan? Was that his name? Gonna take a check so I don't sound dumb on the internet. Yep. Her and Taipan, or him and Taipan? Her and Taipan. That was good. It was painful, but it was a good kind of painful. And that's what Assassination is. It is a good kind of painful. You're going to have a blast reading it, but it's going to hurt you as well. And I think it's only going to keep hurting more the more it goes on. Oh, and then here is The Walking Dead. Okay. I think I said, either last month or the month before, that a friend of mine pointed out that we're coming up on the end of an omnibus, and every 48 issues they release like a big fat phone book of comic, and every time they've done that before, it's sort of had something big happens, and then they kind of cool it down, and all right, like we're closing a chapter. And this issue ends in spectacular fashion. And because I have recorded this review so late, I've read the next issue. And it makes this issue better knowing where it goes for 192 to close up the story. And it's got a little bit of everything that I like from Walking Dead. It's got high tension. It's got hope. It's got, it actually doesn't have zombies, I don't think, if I recall correctly. So that's the one thing it doesn't have, which is kind of hilarious, that this big old zombie book. Forget about the zombies. The zombies are almost an afterthought in the book at this point, because the people, no, they're not The Walking Dead. It actually has a big double-page spread where he's saying that we are not The Walking Dead as a response to the time where he said the opposite, and it was real hilarious to me. But also kind of it was a good moment at the time, but as I look back, it's just like, oh god, he said the thing. Like, why did he say the thing? And he said the other thing. He said the opposite thing, and I found it hilarious again, where it's just like, oh, Rick, what are you doing? But yeah, had some really good quiet moments, and then some real good loud moments, and yeah, Walking Dead at the top of its game. I feel like this is an all-timer that they're, you know, if you look through the history of The Walking Dead, and you pick out 5 issues that really hit you, this one might be right in there. Although it might be the issue after that is that. So look forward to next month's reviews, probably in less than a month, hopefully, if I can get to it in the first 2 weeks of the month this time. And yeah, I'll probably have that right near the top again, because that was real good. But we're not talking about then, we're talking about now. And now, I'm done, so I guess I'm not talking about now either. Yeah, thanks for watching another one of these. Oh no, I forgot to change the background. I've been in front of a green screen this whole time. Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to change that back. Now it's a green screen. I'm going to have it different the whole time. And then, I don't know, I've confused myself. I was going to do a thing where I snapped at the beginning and I made it a different background, but I'm just going to have to make it another background because I forgot to do a fancy thing. So, yeah. It's good technology. I'll see you next month.